I understand that Mastercam offers the customization capabilities for specific industries and specific applications. So, what features allow engineers to tailor the software to their unique needs?
If we're doing our job right, every single one, right? That is the usability, the experience, our usability experience team. That's their goal, is that every single feature that is out there or that we're bringing to the market should be flexible enough to be used by almost any industry. A couple examples of something that is a little bit more specific is something like Blade Expert, right? We have a package designed specifically for cutting impellers. It's not really meant and it's not really usable across other industry. Impellers are used in medical, they're used in aerospace, right? They're used across multiple industries, but it's still an impeller. It's still a blade shape that you're going to be using this feature on. That's kind of the outlier. You talk about all the innovation that we've done in hole making. I'd be hard pressed to think of an industry that doesn't put holes in their parts. So any work that we do there, sure, we've come up with templates. We let the user build these hole templates. We've got something called process hole, which allows them to put their templates in and kind of automate the programming process on their various hole types and sizes and things, with their own spin on how they address that. But it's not isolated to an industry or to a specific customer. One of the ones that we saw a huge advantage on, it was actually a docking ring section for a space station. So it's got this big, what would need to be a 3D surface machined surface on the outside. It's kind of a triangle, and it's where it all meets together. And that would be a big, long 3D surfacing finish path, hours and hours of a ball end mill just tracing the part, at a 10 thou, 15 thou step over. Well, now we can take a big circle segment tool, which allows you, a circle segment tool basically allows your contact radius of the tool to be much larger than the tool diameter itself is, leading to a much better surface finish for a given step over. So that allows you to increase your step over while surface machining, giving you a much better finish in a much shorter time.
So that would probably segue right into my next question about common challenges that companies face when adopting CAM software. So what are some of those common challenges, and how do you guys address them over there at Mastercam?
Yeah, I think with CAM software, the biggest issue is a learning curve, right? It's not an easy thing to jump into, right? To program a CNC machine, I can think of a lot of things that are easier to learn. So we really have our work cut out for us to make that more approachable, easier. And a lot of that work is on the user experience side, right? On the interface. How do we make this interface one that somebody who isn't, they're learning manufacturing at the same time they're probably learning CAM software. So how do we make the CAM software the path of least resistance, right? You don't want someone going, oh, it's much easier to program on the control than the CAM software, so let me do it this way. So we've got to make that the easier path. And it's not an easy thing with the workforce challenges that are out there today, with the workforce that is in manufacturing aging out. It's something we've got to take head on, and I think we have with a few years back, moving our interface into something more Microsoft Word like, right, with the ribbon, and something that, okay, you've used email before, how this interface kind of functions. You don't have to relearn that too. You still have to know what these functions do, but the interface is not daunting to you.
Sure. Do you
So
guys have any kind of program that puts your product in front of students?
yeah, so we have a full team dedicated to education. Um, a few years back, we made that much more accessible cost wise for schools and municipalities and stuff to purchase our software at a severe discount and get it in front of students, get them exposure. And we have a full online Mastercam University, which is a full online training program. We have a lot of third-party partners out there in education as well that are providing educational materials from Mastercam. It's another step above CAD software because it has a more physical component to it
Sure.
than CAD software does. So whatever challenges that CAD software have with doing, help in that manner, we face that times 10
Right.
because there is that physical aspect to our output. The output of a CAD package is a theoretic, it's a model. It's something that actually doesn't exist. The output of our package is something that becomes immediately physical.
So I would think that machine tending and being able to program the machines up front and set them up to
Yep.
work when nobody's there to work and be able to, have a robot come in and change those parts over.
Yep.
I think that's huge. So is that something that you build into your software, or is that something from a different software?
It's both. It's both. We have third-party softwares that we work with that specifically program robots, and they're using our interface, and they're basically plugging right into the background of our software and seamlessly integrating. So absolutely, I mean, the answer is yes to both. And we have to do work on our side to make that possible, as do they. So we definitely are working on it. I think the bigger focus for us is automating what happens on toolpath creation and making that able to be utilized, making our stuff able to be utilized for automation, for the physical automation that's happening. So I guess
Okay.
our actual automation is more inside, the software on the computer side, but we're enabling the physical automation that's happening after the fact too.
Okay. So would that tie back to maybe the way that the bar stock is used, or anything about the way the materials are being cut and cutting the scrap? And
Yeah. Yeah, there's some interesting, I mean, I can just when you said that, I was thinking about like on machine probing, utilizing stock in the most efficient way, doing some best fit on the machine so you're able to create, instead of machining from a billet, you're coming from a forging or a casting or something, and being able to address the concerns that happen when you're doing that. Not always easy to line up a forging or a casting on a machine. So we do have package inside of Mastercam probing that allows you to pick up things and make adjustments, automated adjustments on the machine to every single, castings are like snowflakes, right? Doesn't matter how good the process is, every single one's a little different. And that
sure,
can present some manufacturing challenges.
if you were to have a crystal ball and look forward uh, into what's coming next in your software, um, for CAM, what would you say you guys see happening within your software platform within the next, say, 10 years?
This kind of goes back to the anecdote I told you before about the 3D printer. I don't see how that doesn't happen to subtractive machining, right? Where it becomes more automated and gives you a result. And to me, that result is then something I, as a human or an engineer, go in and massage to be what I want. The way that has come to fruition in 3D printing, it does seem like it's a possibility in subtractive now,
Mhm.
where it may become more automated. The early solutions to that, across the industry were less than ideal. And I think we've got to fight that perception, that first try that maybe didn't go so well as an industry, where everything got automated and it was promised that you click a button and we're gonna do it for you. And we didn't, right? The software just wasn't there yet. So I think we have some of that to fight with. to get to that point where it is actually very useful stuff coming out of the software that takes very little human interaction.